Hello.
You do
How's it going?
That's about yourself.
Doing okay. Doing okay. Just tired. I gotta wake up. A little slap in the face. A little late night coffee maybe. Something. Just kind of a part of being in a deficit, a calorie deficit though. I'm just kind of always tired.
Yeah.
Miserable. Um okay. So uh obviously you messaged me the kind of large overview of things that you'd like to, get out of the last two sessions. And of course, I'm
hmm
more than happy to oblige. So we can start wherever you'd like to start and work from there.
Yeah. I think starting with the replay review because I think it might be the longest one to cover, in my opinion. So even if we kind of overextend on the next session, we will be able to cover everything.
Okay.
I guess. I think. After that, uh, I will be fine with the aerial stuff that I've suggested to go on.
Okay.
And I think the order I gave it was basically how I would approach stuff because the replay review I won't find already I kind of try but it's not easy. I won't find anything useful so far. People don't seem to kind of teach that and sort that or stuff like this. So
Mhm.
that's why I would
Cool.
like to start with that first.
Sure. If you want
Have
to,
you just a quick question? Have
sure.
you read also the resume I made about the last sessions, or you didn't look at the file?
Yes, yes, yes. I looked at that.
Have you noticed anything that seems to be off?
When I looked through it, um, I found that you had a good understanding. Um, I found you had a good understanding of the things that we talked about. I didn't see anything that was like, oh yeah, no, that looks off. To me, it looked,
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah. It's really utilizing like looking back in the vods and seeing stuff is like what makes the program really useful. So I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, I realize that there is some stuff that I kind of go out of the way I was doing at start, but didn't pay attention to that. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, now I remember that. Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad to see that the tornado spinning and jumping in the air and tornado spinning is really starting to enter your like game to game play.
Yeah, I did some ring maps where I forced myself to just go tornado without trying to get out of it as much as I could, even with the when you said there are some turns that you might have to do the reverse tornado, etc. I was trying to not do so, and I think it seems to have helped a lot to
Yeah,
get the kind of the tempo slash rhythm of boosting and moving at the same time.
for sure.
The last time I did a map, I didn't put myself in that kind of strict box. I was more keeping the tornado spin as my primary goal for the placement, the movement.
Yeah.
But I wasn't afraid to either stop tornado spinning, just spinning on the side to get back on track, maybe just stop spinning at all if I felt
Hmm.
more comfortable, and then get back to my tornado and continue that.
Yeah.
I seems to being able to on basically the same amount. I basically double the number of level I was able to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's kind of the next step. Is like
okay.
having tornadoes and be your default and be comfortable is where you're pretty much at now, and then it's about knowing when to deviate, and
Okay.
when to change into something else when the tornado spin's done its job, specifically in game, like when to go from tornado spinning up to a ball to adjusting to hit it with power, or tornado spinning up to a ball and then and then getting your car to be upright so you can air dribble it. That's kind of the
Hmm.
next thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So, if you want to give me a replay,
Oh, I forgot that. I said to myself, I have to look to find some. I was sure that you would ask one. But I completely forgot. Give me a
oh,
moment.
it's all
We'll
right.
find one.
Yeah, it'll be quick. I mean, just any recent game will
Yeah, I
work.
just have to try to find one that I didn't had a stupid dumb shit in my game. It, I had some games it was terrible. Like a guy that we didn't even start the game and he was already playing against us. It was basically a 4v2. I was like,
Yeah,
no, don't
yeah, I
like
get
that.
it. It can be like that.
Okay, I will take this one. It's a loss. I think anyway. We probably won't go on the mistakes, but basically just on what the situation is worth of stuff like that. I believe. I
Right.
don't know how you want to approach it. I took one. It was a loss. I don't remember having dumb shit on that game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Even if there'll be plenty to work through. Okay.
I won't take note while you speak because I want to pay attention and be maybe ready to ask question on
Yeah.
it. So I will wait for your VOD to get back on that and getting note.
Sure.
And yeah,
Okay. Yeah, let me get my screen share.
don't forget to put the drawing this time.
Yeah, I should be on the right thing. Oh, I just started typing out.
No worries. I was like, well, wait a minute. I think there was supposed to have a line on the screen there.
Yeah, yeah. I do so
Shit
much
happens.
switching
Don't worry. Don't
back and
worry.
forth of switching the scenes on my
Yeah,
Streamlabs that just ended up happening.
don't worry. It happens only once in on what 5 so far, 4 or 5 review. It's
That's
not
the only
bad.
time it's
It's
happened
good.
ever, actually, in
Oh,
my entire
okay.
time
So
coaching.
so I'm special, I
Yes,
guess.
yes.
Okay,
It was
okay.
just for you. All right.
I see.
Yeah, you're just kind of
And you were using you go there and there. I was like, okay, where did it point me?
remember.
Oh yeah, I think it was around there.
Like, could you at least see my cursor?
No,
Oh,
uh,
that's a bit
I
unfortunate.
no, I didn't see the cursor. I was just
Looking at the game.
seeing the in-game stuff.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that. You know, I was just messing around.
Oh, my controller's not plugged in. Okay.
Yeah, controlling the replay with the keyboard is not easy.
No, it's not nearly as fluid. All right. So, how to review replays yourself and kind of, be able to do it in a way that's actually useful for your time when you don't have someone like me involved who, just has the answers because I've played the game forever. Right?
Yeah.
So, we have to operate within a pre-worked framework to do so. So you remember first week 2, I did this pressure, support,
Yep.
reading, safety net. That is the
Yep.
framework in which we go about understanding how how you should be doing something different or why you should be doing something different.
Okay.
It's all right. What the first thing, so if you want to break it down into steps, the first thing you ask yourself in a situation is, what's my role here? So, am I pressuring? Am I supporting? Am I reading the play and the safety net? So you have to
Okay.
ask yourself which one of those you are. And if that's unclear, like you're huddled up with a teammate and you don't know which one you are, it's on you as a player in the game to make it's for you to be decisive in that moment and choose, usually based on your boost amount. So if you have a lot of boosts and your teammate doesn't have much, you should be the one to take initiative.
Okay. So you talking? So that part is when I'm in the game, or when
Yes, when you're in
I
the game.
analyze a situation and I wasn't sure of something. Is it for both or it was for the game? Sorry.
Well, it's kind of for both. It's like in game, you should
Okay.
be making that kind of decision. But if you see yourself in that kind of spot and you weren't decisive, then it's like, oh, I had a lot of boost there and my teammate didn't. I should be pushing up to be second man instead of third,
Okay.
right? You know, that
I
kind of
got
thing.
you. Gotcha.
Yeah. So with that framework is how we make decisions. Now, what the kind of the harder part is understanding, okay, well, what decision can I make to achieve that goal? Because I don't know what achieves that goal best.
Yeah.
And the way you do that is you don't just go with one idea and run with it. What you do is you fully flesh out multiple options that you can think of. So what you don't do is just assume that like one option is like, all right, that's probably fine. What you do is you try to think of all possible things combinatorically, and you decide which one, based on all the options that you can think of in a situation, you think is best. And then it's basically a trial and error to, okay, I start doing that in game. Are you finding good results with it or bad results with it? So, for example, like a very crude example, say it's your job to be pressuring. So you're first man and you're approaching the corner here, and your opponent has the ball here and they're dribbling. Obviously, we've talked about run through, so the answer is clear, but let's say you didn't know that. So
Mhm.
all the possible things you could do here are one, turn back around, two, dive and challenge the ball, three, go for a bump and a boost steal, right? And you would think
Yeah.
of all those things critically. You'd ask yourself, okay, what are all the possible situations and things I can do here? I guess, and then a fourth would be fake challenge.
Okay.
And then from all of those, you think to yourself, what accomplishes pressuring the best? And
Okay.
then you should be able to come to the conclusion from there, either through trial and error, like, okay, you know what, I'm going to try fake challenging in the corners, and you realize it's not working in game. And then, you go to, okay, I'm going to run through and bump. And, that one's working. And, as you can see from your time doing it, that running through and bumping is really, really strong. So
Okay.
that's how you come to those conclusions when you're not sure. Some things will be more obvious than that, and there won't always be four options. Sometimes the only two
Yeah.
options will be fake challenge or go.
Okay.
And that will be much easier to decide based on what you seek. If your job is to pressure and they're getting really close to your net, obviously the best decision is to just go instead of fake challenge.
Okay.
So you know that's the way you want to go about it. Do you have any questions about that?
So far, no. That's fine.
Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll go through some examples of situations from this game, and I'm not going to give you help to start. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to ask you what are all the possible things you can do. Like we're just going to go through that process that I just talked about, and then I'll be able to amend afterwards if you do something incorrectly or think about it incorrectly.
Okay. Just before we go, um, one of the question I have, and I know it will be explained along the session or maybe the next one too, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is what can make a situation worth analyzing. I don't know if you want to go over that now or we go uh along the side of the explanation.
Right, like so because obviously you don't want to be stopping and doing it every 5 seconds of the game. It'd take forever.
Yeah, yeah, what could be yeah, yeah, of course, I understand that you can't be really specific because now you gave me an example on using the three position to analyze one situation I will facing to analyze for whatever reason I will think I have to analyze that situation, which is fine. That will help me to start expanding my mind on that. But
Mm-hmm.
what will decide when I will be by myself than a situation worth um, analyzing that. So now that I think we can go with your exercise that you want me to do, and I would ask you to add when you will stop to a situation.
Hmm.
maybe just explaining me what was the kind of criteria, or if you want to give me some general criteria first. I'm not sure how you want to approach it. I'm not sure if I'm clear to
No,
you.
no, no.
I'm
I
sorry.
I completely understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So, um, some so there, I'd say my answer is like we're gonna do both. So first of all, general criteria for how you should be choosing situations that you should kind of take a deep dive into. Um, well, plays you got scored on, right?
Okay.
Plays that your team did score that involved you
Okay.
are just obviously two of the biggest general criteria. Those are like big inflection points in the game, and you should look at those
Hmm.
to what caused those things, especially when you're involved. And the causes of a goal can be like 10, 15 seconds back as well. So you have to be take in mind like goals aren't usually, especially as you go higher and higher into champ, just one mistake and done. It's multiple mistakes over the course of many seconds. So
Okay.
that's something to keep in mind. Um, Usually plays where you're rotating back and having to make
Hmm.
decisions about whether you're going to cut in or you're going to rotate all the way back, stay in the play, completely dip out of the play. Those are good scenarios. Um, Plays where you went for a challenge and got beat. Plays where you went for a fake challenge and got beat. Um, it's usually either plays you're challenging, plays where you're rotating and you need to figure out the right way to rotate, or getting scored on, or scoring are kind of
Okay.
the general gist of it, but there are some things outside of that that are important to.
Of course.
But yeah, those are some good general criteria to keep in mind.
Okay. Okay. And uh I'm trying to formulate the question first in my mind. I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
have the
good.
question in French. I tried to find the right way to ask in English. Um, so once, um, okay, so once I think I found a situation to analyze,
Yeah.
should I get back a few seconds right now and let it go up to a certain point? Should I let it go up to an extended point, or just up to the analyzing moment? Should I let go and see, oh, now I have to get back to that point?
Right.
I might be a precise question. All right, you seems to have understand. All right, go.
Yeah. So the point you go back to obviously will vary. It's you go back to the point where you had a multitude of like options to choose from, where you had a decision to
Okay.
make. Um, because, for example, um, you land on their back wall, you jump down and you wave dash and you start rotating back, and the ball is
Hmm.
on this side of the field. So your first decision point comes probably right after you cross the midfield line, where you have to decide if you're gonna like you have time to go back and get corner, or you have time to, or you don't have time. You need to cut in and kind of play midfield, or you need to cut in and challenge because the ball's about to come out mid and your teammate's stuck in net, right? So we have a
Okay.
decision tree at that point. Now you can come to that's the decision point because let's say you saw you got scored on in the here. So you go up, you see you got scored on, you go back
Hmm.
a few like clicks with the left arrow, and then you get to that point where like, okay, I'm rotating back, I'm rotating back. I'm like, okay, here's the point where like I'm looking at the play and I see that there are many things I could have done. Um,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's kind of how you want to find that. It'll be different for every
Okay.
play,
All right.
but you'll get a feel for it as we do it here. So here, right? Like this would be a spot where you just got beat on a challenge, right?
Okay.
So here would be a
Okay.
spot that I'm thinking about, okay, was there something I could have done differently to avoid this? So obviously up to this point you have no decision to make. You're just waiting to see what happens on a challenge, right?
Yes.
Do you have a decision to make here?
Not yet, in my opinion.
I
Not
think
yet.
you do.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I think you do is because the challenge has now been done and you have the decision to make. Are you going to ignore your teammate who's landing near the ball and push up close like you did? Or are you going to wait right here?
Okay.
So the reason I know there's a decision to make here is because now that the challenge is done, you always have a decision to make as the support. So the framework is I'm supporting, right?
Okay.
So if you're supporting, how do you best support? Do you wait right here or do you push on this ball aggressively because you know it's bouncing off the corner?
I should have pushed
Right.
faster.
Exactly. So you
Okay.
got caught hesitating because you know in general in Rocket League that when your teammate's on like really close to the ball like this, that it's not very good to like clump up and be in the same spot as him. But this is where
Yeah.
your critical decision making has to come in and understand that he's never touching this ball.
Okay.
Right? We know that right here because he just challenged, it's past him, and he's not touching this ball. So we know that. But you get you hesitate right here. You hit the brakes because you're worried
Yes.
about pushing into him where he is, and then you decide to go and it gets you beat when you could have dunked him. So
And yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
no. I was just saying, so that's how you kind of analyze a situation like that.
Okay. Gotcha. Question on that situation
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that I have. I try to change my way. I now see some of my view of the game differently, and I know I stopped there because I saw my. If you maybe get back just one click on my view, we will see a teammate really deep
Yep.
and see there. So I didn't go because I was afraid of letting the net open, but my decision caused the situation. I agree with that. And
Mm-hmm.
should have I pushed still, even if my
Yep.
teammate wasn't there? Or yeah, okay.
Yep. The reason is because you remember what I said about how like like the safest plays does not mean passive. I saw that way back.
Specifically, yeah, specifically that I have to say no, I don't remember even after the review of the videos. I don't specifically remember those words, but that makes sense.
Yeah. So when you're supporting here as second man, obviously you're trying to make a decision that's safe for your team, right?
Yes.
It's near your net. The safest play is to not let him get the time to line up a shot over you.
Okay.
So yes, your teammate's not back, but it's actually way more dangerous for you to give him the time to outplay you here rather than you just go right away and make him either make an amazing play that somehow gets around you and controls the ball, which is highly unlikely if you go right away.
Okay.
Or two, like you're just dunking him. So, yeah, now without me here telling you which is the best option, you have to decide here, like, what your thought process needs to be is okay, what are all the possible options I can do here? It's either I stay here,
Yes.
I come up to the
I
front
rush.
post and I stop like you did,
Mm-hmm.
or I rush. And out of
Okay.
these three decisions, you have to understand what's better to support what's happening here. And you have to, again, like we established, so you're near your net. As second man, you're trying to make a safe play. The
Yes.
safest
Quick
play.
question
Good.
on that before you go further. Um, since I already know that my decision is the worst one, or at least not the good one because it
Mm-hmm.
didn't really work, should I still consider it in the decision tree, or should I like yeah okay that but didn't work and don't work on that more? I don't know if I make sense on that.
So, um, well, yes, you know this isn't the good one because I told you in this scenario, but you could
Yes.
probably like say I didn't tell you, and you yourself posed yourself these three options. Would you come to that conclusion that I told you?
Probably because he kind of dunked me, beat me on the ball. So I
Hmm.
would say that that wouldn't have been the right move to do.
Right.
But if, for example, I would have succeed on my because he is worse than maybe he should be, or he missed it, or whatever,
Right.
and my decision making made it work. But like you already point me on, I think one replay review with my team, and I did a bad decision making, but overall it worked because my teammate was rushing the ball.
Hmm.
How should I see that it might have been a mistake, or what should give me notes that I should pay attention to that without seeing that it was a mistake,
Yeah.
if I make
Good idea.
sense?
Not good idea. Good
All right.
question. Um, yes, there'll be situations where you make this decision and it ends up working because your opponent didn't get like the good touch over you, or they messed up, or they misread the ball. And
Yes.
what you have to do is in that decision, you have to see like in a replay, if like say in this replay you dunked him making this decision and it went like up and like down and back in your corner, right?
Hmm.
Um, you have to understand that. I mean, you already prefaced it, so you know this. Like, if you make a decision and the only reason it worked is because your opponent messed it up, then it's probably not a good decision. Good decision.
Okay.
So yes, you dunked him in that scenario, but just think about if I gave a better player, if I gave Shock that much time on the
I mean,
ball, would he punish me for doing that?
probably.
Yeah, right. So
All right.
would
Okay.
a better player make a better touch here and punish me for not going? If the answer, yeah, if, then then you could come to that conclusion. You already had it in your head that like yeah, like a better player like would take advantage of the situation, so I made a wrong decision.
Okay. Makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna let this replay play, and the
Hmm.
next time you think you have an important decision to make, one worth reviewing, I want you to tell me to stop.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do you want me to stop it before the action happen, or you're fine that I say, okay, stop there, go back,
You can
and
say
something
stop
like
there, go
this?
back. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right, go ahead. See, that was an example of why I asked for recovery stuff to work on at the end.
Yep.
All right, there probably is a bad decision there
Okay.
to stop it.
So
That challenge, I think,
how far are we
since
going
I've
back?
been, let it go again.
So I went forward once.
No problem.
Yeah. So how far are we going back here?
Okay. Let it go back and go back again and let it go. I will try to see since I'm not sure to when.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let it go now. We'll go back there again. Okay, there.
Okay.
You can go back before I turn to the boost. Yeah. Okay. So probably there would be a decision because the guy is already committed to the ball. He had one touch, and I feel like yes, my teammates have no boost. He will beat it in the air and do whatever I feel he could do in the air. And
Okay.
that's probably at the point where I should take a decision to go or not and how I should go.
Mm-hmm. So you have to wait to see what happens on this challenge, right?
Yes.
So
Okay.
here is your decision, right? So what are all your possible decisions?
Okay. From there. The first and easy one is waiting.
Okay. So where are you gonna wait?
By the way, I see the ball go. I said I would wait. Basically, they are slowly toward the same line, just to analyze the ball. So I would stay maybe overing, not going too far, too fast from there. So I would stay. I would say there or a bit further forward. Uh, yeah, it's kind of something like this. The other obvious one would be to jump already on the ball.
Okay.
But I don't think it would be the good decision because I have time to wait the other guy jumping and see what my teammate might do. So I could so that bring the third one that I could wait, go more towards the wall and try to catch the ball.
Okay.
That would be one other option. Uh, so quickly, it's what I see I could do at the moment.
So, um, you're missing an option.
Okay.
You go to backboard.
Okay. Yeah. Forgot
So
about that.
you have your 4 options here. Now, in your estimation, which one do you think is best?
Obviously, not the second one, which is going to the ball because I got beat.
Okay.
Didn't maybe it was a mechanical issue or something like this. I will have to pay attention to this. Maybe my fast aerial wasn't correct.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say waiting is not a good one either because I would have no momentum if there is a jump, a challenge, or a shot.
Okay.
So it would stay in. What was the lower arrow already? Forget that one.
You
Oh,
said
catch the ball. Catch the
catch the
ball. Yeah,
ball.
catch
Yeah.
the ball. So I would have say so the last two can kind of be available, but catching the ball with the guy that's coming behind the smoke screen probably is not a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Too risky to be challenged. So I think it would have left the backboard.
Okay. So, um, that is essentially the process I want you going through when you review your own replays. It's this. Now,
Okay.
on this play in particular, I think there's actually 2 viable options. I think going backboard is viable, and I think jumping right away is viable. Now,
Okay.
why is that? So, what's my reasoning? Well, for one, we just saw that the guy jumping for it got demoed, so there's no one up for it already. If this guy was up for it already, I'd say the only viable option is going backboard.
Okay.
So he's not up, which means we have a chance to at least 50 the ball. And actually, personally, for me, the way I like to play, I don't like even giving this guy an opportunity to shoot. I like going up right away here more than anything else.
Okay.
But backboard can be used. But you kind of give your opponent an opportunity to peek and slot it. So I like just cutting out the shot before it happens.
Okay.
So guy on the ground, ball's up there. We have to see then. So why did we lose the challenge? See, this is the thing. Like, same thing as the other one where, like, well, you know how we just talked about, like, oh, like you gave him space, but he messed it up. So your decision looked good, but it was actually bad.
Mm-hmm.
Here, your decision looked good and is good, but you did something wrong to execute it.
Okay.
So you'll actually see here the reason you lose the race to this ball is one, you slightly hesitate. You turn left, you brake and you turn left.
Yeah.
And secondly, you actually stop boosting on your way up.
I see.
So
Yeah, when I correct my direction, I stop boosting. Yeah.
Yeah, you basically you stop boosting and you like feathered, and that got you beat.
Okay.
Now you do block the net, and as you can see, like even you going and like forcing him to go high above you still actually prevented a goal in a funny way. And not to say that this wouldn't be a goal, like this guy did backflip and he might have actually scored, but you know you kind of you end up forcing your opponents to make good plays when you force them to do things. So
Okay.
I like jumping for this more than anything. Backboard is also actually completely viable with how fast the ball is moving towards your backboard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind you jumping here, but you can't hesitate. You have to go right away,
Okay.
and you have to boost all the way to it, because you could actually beat the sky to the ball here by jumping now.
Okay. So, question about the general situation there.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen that I should. Okay, I have two questions because I was about to explain it. I got one question that I will ask first. I missed um one kind of available option.
Yes.
How can I know that
Yep.
if I didn't saw it first? How can I realize that I might have? Oh yeah, I had that option. I should have thought of that
Mm-hmm.
or something like this.
Yeah. Good question. The way I recommend doing that, so like obviously like the way you've been able to see options is by me just telling you because I know they exist, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't know they exist in a given situation or you forget it or something of the sort, the way to cultivate your knowledge about what you can do in certain situations is watch pro replays.
Okay.
So like in a twos or just a threes rank game, like just watch um like what they do, and you just watch through the whole game, and again like identify decision points like the same way you would with your own replay. Do it with a pro replay. Identify decision points, like see why they chose certain decisions. Identify their possible decisions, and see what works when it doesn't. Because they also make mistakes, but
Hmm.
much less, and they are really good at recovering off mistakes. So that's how you kind of like I said, cultivate your knowledge into being able to understand what is available to you to any given situation.
Okay. So second question on that. Not on that. You answer that. It's my second question I had first. Um. Okay. Yeah, I remember now. So now we saw you told me that my first decision wasn't a bad decision. It was just a bad execution.
Mm-hmm.
So should I try to see why I made the mistake before analyzing the situation, or should I not pay attention to that first, or should I start with that? Don't know.
So even though so say you in a given situation you see that you made an execution error, like you just messed up what you were trying to do,
No.
you should still go through the process of all the options, because even if like say you're in any given situation the one you chose was the second best option and you messed it up, there's still a first best option to find.
Okay.
So you can acknowledge that you messed up your execution, but you still want to go through this process. And then if that decision you made still ended up being the best decision, then you should focus on, okay, how do I execute it differently?
Okay. And if it's the second best, should I still see how I could have make it work,
For sure.
or
For sure. Yes.
okay. Okay, so it shouldn't be my first analyzing point of a situation. I should still analyze
Mm-hmm.
the execution no matter what, if I understood correctly, kind of what you explained to me.
Yep.
I should still analyze the situation to understand why I failed, whatever, or succeed, whatever I attempt to do so.
Yeah. I mean, a well
But
executed mistake is still better than a poorly executed mistake.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
All right. I'm going to play again. We're going to go to the next one. You're next. Like, you're
yes.
going to tell me to stop.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
It still worked, but yeah, if I was to analyze the situation, I would have analyzed from probably there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe um I think it was the point where I had to decide, but I'm not sure if I would probably, yeah. Now I think I what Strike would have said to me. You would probably have told me to wait at least a bounce or a touch or something like this. So maybe the decision would come after the bounce. Yeah, I worked. I had the goal. Yeah, so maybe close to there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I generate a goal, but if there was decisions to take, I think it would have been there.
Okay. What are your
Is it
options?
like okay? My option is the obvious first one, jumping on the ball,
Mm-hmm.
shooting. Yeah, I would have from there, I could see maybe a kind of a run through. I know it's not that, but because I'm not the first man, etc., etc., etc. But that maybe could be an option if I paid attention to where my teammate is
Okay.
for whatever reason. Um, a fake challenge, if there was any fake challenge to do, going for maybe close to the further the other boost pad and go back down after that,
Yeah.
something like this.
I'm
I know it's not a good move, but
yeah. I'm actually gonna stop you there because there's only one answer to this play. It's a score.
okay.
So, what you don't want to do is
Okay.
bog yourself down into too many details, and the play is abundantly obvious. Like
Okay.
you should always be jumping for this. They look awkward. The ball's bouncing up and scoreable, right?
Okay.
If this guy beats you, like he goes up backboard and somehow reaches in time, so be it. But like, yeah, you need to be jumping at these kind of opportunities to try to score.
Okay.
So yeah. The only thing I'd actually nitpick about this play is I don't know why you're not speed flipping up the field. Like if you're gonna flip here to move up field, what you should be moving up field. Your teammate just retouches. You know how to speed flip.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I was just trying to not be too close or something. I tried to pay more attention to my way and when I flip on the field. But yeah, I will put it in the experience bank to maybe I should have speed flip there when I move.
Sure. Let's talk about that real quick. So speed flipping. So I want you to observe the difference between me speed flipping with no boost. Like so, you flipped with using no boost there. So you came from here, ball was moving upfield, and you front flipped here, and you landed about here. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay, you kind of move a bit further.
It's very close.
Okay.
I want you in the habit of speed flipping. You just travel farther, faster, more efficiently, and it's almost virtually the same distance when you use no boost. Obviously, it's a little bit more distance when you use boost, but I want you in the habit of speed flipping all around the field because when you can do it well. There's no point in you not doing it. It's just more efficient.
Okay. All right.
You also get back down to the ground quicker because you're lower to the ground.
Okay.
See how long I'm in the
I was
air when I do this?
yeah. I was trying to not doing too much for a while. I was doing some on I think when I started the program, I was doing some without the boost just to get use uh, of my movement of the
Mm.
speed flip. But I will try to put it back on my movement field.
Yeah.
All right.
Oops, not rush. I want you doing it all around the field when you have that much space. Like, there's no rush here for you.
Okay,
Right?
I probably with that distance now that I know I should have go probably that I would have done a small boost, small like a small tap boost. Would it be fine, or you would have to say that no boost would have should have still be the way to go or whatever
Yeah.
on that situation.
Now, in terms of execution, so we know this is the right play. Now we observe
Mm,
execution, right? That's the next step. How do you find
yeah,
you executed here?
a bit messy. I was
Okay,
too high, correct, and go down to touch the ball after that.
sure. So, what would you do differently?
Maybe not the ball jumping.
Okay.
I do it too often. It wasn't a need since I go lower after that, so probably that I wouldn't have needed it.
Well, for me, so first, before you go into solutions, let's identify the problem. So,
Okay.
would you say you got to this? So, let's talk about the fundamentals of a shot. It's placement, it's power, and it's the speed in which you get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could say angle. So, did you place it fine?
No, I just rushed the ball basically. I didn't
Well, yeah,
place the
there is
ball
no
at all.
placement really. Like you're just hitting it in, right? But
Yeah.
that's good placement. It's top shelf, right?
Yeah.
So your placement was fine. Nothing to do different there. Now the power. It doesn't really matter. You're really close to the net, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only way you could really mess up power on this is if you wheel touch it straight downwards at your opponent, right? So power was fine. So now the only thing really left is angle and the speed in which you get there. So I believe where you where you feel it's messy is that your trajectory wasn't great. Like you didn't get there like fast.
I wasn't directly to the ball, kind
Right.
of.
So
Yeah.
what do you think caused that?
Let it go, please.
Sure.
I will send it short.
I'll let it play again.
I have to say, I thought I've stopped boosting before, but I kind of stopped to analyze quickly my situation. I have to say, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So what are
I
the
don't see why.
components of an aerial?
Being in the air.
Yes, but how do you execute an aerial?
uh, you jump and you control your car by boosting where your nose is pointing.
Yes, yes. So I know it sounds a little silly having you explain it, but there's a reason. So there's a launch, and there's how you control your car after the launch, and then there's contacting the ball, right?
Okay.
So we already established the way you contacted the ball was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only things left are your launch and the way you controlled your car. There's two things I see you did wrong here. The first
Okay.
one is with your launch. Let me see if you could spot it.
I kind of tilted. I think I was ready to do an aerial shot, but didn't show up the way I kind of thought at first.
So the way you messed up on your launch is I want you to see what you do right before you launch. Full hit the brake.
Ah. Oh yeah, did I?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh yeah, I saw the light. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So you hit the brake on a ball you need to be going up for quickly, which is why you're so slow to it.
Okay.
Um you
I think to on that point, I'm pretty sure I took the habit because I had the extreme opposite before. I was always kind of drifting under the ball by going too fast. You know, it was
mhm.
I kind of probably go to the opposite extreme of what I was doing, the extreme on the opposite side, kind of.
Mhm.
I think it's how I got that habit on that.
Yeah, so you remember in the high aerials pack when we talked about launching and we talked about how we have to be boosting on the ground a little bit and then jumping up at it to get to it as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that applies to every aerial. So what you did was this. So you no, I did the break a little extreme, but
Yeah, but I'm you don't have choice. You don't have that reflex.
yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, I got the
Yeah,
what
so
you're
it's
trying
the
to make.
difference between reaching the ball Jesus, like this and like this. Right. So
Okay.
that applies there as well. You broke before. And secondly, when you jumped for it, you didn't really arrow much. You just kind of like did that.
Yeah.
But remember what we talked about with air rolling, that like the reason we do it is to create a new axis towards the ball that's faster than going up or back, or forward or back, up or down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way you could also get to it quicker is by, air rolling to it, because I can jump at this ball like this,
Yes.
but I could also jump at this ball like this. Okay, I missed the top left, but you like I'm getting to this ball so much faster. And I'm
Yeah.
also in a position to strike it with power because of air rolling.
Okay.
Whereas you're just more likely either one to get a wheel touch doing this, or two, you're getting to it slightly slower because a lot of your momentum's going upwards instead of into the ball, right? You can see the trajectory difference on this.
Yes.
So those are the two things I saw that were wrong. You didn't air roll to it, and what you should be doing is that slight tornado spin, just like this, like what we talked about. And you should be not braking right before you launch. You should be boosting through your launch and spending as much time on the ground as possible before you launch while boosting.
Okay. I'll try to work on that.
Yeah.
It will be muscle memory hard to break, but I was able to break others, so should
Yeah.
be able to break that one too.
So, yeah, I mean that's how you review your own replays. Now we don't have much time left, so I'd like to talk a little bit about
Already.
the power sliding.
They didn't start the hours going at all.
Yeah, no, the hour actually went by really fast. And that could kind of time can fly like that when you're reviewing replays that in depth. Like we got through like 20 seconds.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, power sliding. Talk to me a little bit about, and I know you mentioned like a little bit off the wall stuff. Talk to me a little bit about the
It's
power
those power sliding I have issue with. It's probably just because I don't have the right way to work on those. Is when I have the right push from the momentum of the field or whatever, because I'm bumped or whatever the situation. Most of the time I'm kind of surprised by how I can kind of well donely recover myself. But there is other time when I'm kind of, if I have to put a specific situation, is when my nose is basically kind of reverse the side of the momentum I've tried to go. Like your momentum is going towards the blue one, your nose would pointing towards the orange goal or something like this. Sometimes I have hard time to well recovered from that. I'm too slow because I kind of basically stop because my moment I can't use the momentum given by whatever the situation provoked me on that position.
Right.
And I'm too slow to turn to go to continue on the play or whatever. So most of the time, even more in once, I'm basically breathing when those happens.
Yeah.
So I was looking to see if you have different ways that I could work on that, because it's probably just a matter of being force myself on those situations and trying to do some things to get out of it. The only two ways I know is when back in days I was doing donuts on the field, and I was trying to to direct myself on the field, basically the same way that you showed me to do with the tornado spin. It's basically the same way to move when you do donuts. And the other stuff I was using is the Nest custom map, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it correctly to work on that. You know, I'm not sure that I get all what I can get from that custom map. And I don't know if you think it's a good map to work on that or stuff like this.
Yeah, actually, what's funny is I've never actually used that custom map. I actually have to give that a look. But power sliding is very simple, and you don't need a map for it. So, power sliding, let's start with some general tips about it. So, firstly, um, when you're power sliding, you're trying to change direction. Say, I want to get turned around here to start going back to blue pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to do it is to power slide in terms of pure like getting turned around. Now, how you shouldn't do it is holding it like that.
Hmm.
You get this like big spin out.
Yeah.
What you want to do is rapidly tap the button like that, like this. So I'm hitting my power slide a bunch of times. So you get that kind of drift, but you don't actually like get that spin out at the end like this, where you lose all your momentum.
Okay, I was kind of doing that, but probably not feathering that because it's probably what you are doing. I don't see your overlay on the Discord, but it's probably what you're doing, right? You're kind of feathering uh, your power slide when you do that, right?
You can see my controller now, yeah?
Yeah, I can.
Looks like this. My
Okay,
square is
yeah.
my power slide.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
never holding it. I'm rapidly tapping it.
Okay. I wasn't doing it like 3, 4 times like you do. I was maybe doing maybe one, twice,
Yeah.
sometimes 3 times. You know, okay, you're doing more. Okay,
Yep.
I will work on that. Okay.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is like when should I be using power slide outside of that, specifically like off walls and stuff, or
Hmm.
things of the nature. And I would say there should be not many times you actually need to use it. I like I like barely use power slide when I play.
Okay.
What I'm mostly doing to pick up speed and change direction is wave dashing.
Mm-hmm.
And other times, like, yeah, the only times you'll really see me use power slide, like, say I'm going to grab a boost and coming back, it'll be like this. Like, very slight stuff. You should basically never be using power slide as, like, this overarching way to get around the field. Like that. Like, you don't want to do that. Like, grab a boost, like, hit power slide twice, turn, like, stuff like that. Like, otherwise, or, like, sometimes you need to, like, you land, you get like bumped, and you need to like recover, so you like slide and then you like turn around. Like the only other time power slide is really that useful outside of like turning around quickly, is to like recover, like when you get bumped or you land funny. Like I get bumped and like I have to land, so I get like bumped this way. My
Yeah.
car goes funny. I like power slide to land and then like half land.
It's kind of those situations most of the time when I have hard time to turn back. It's kind of I feel like if I jump, I might screw more the situation because the ball is closer or stuff like this. Maybe just because I have fat fingers or I'm stuck on an idea that I have to stay on the ground or stuff like this. I don't know if that makes sense,
Right.
but just say that you go like close to the sidewall, go to one direction, turn your nose 180, sorry, and and one you try to go to the opposite way. So, for example, you go towards the orange side, generate a situation where you would power slide close to the curves or whatever, and uh, and go back to the blue side. It's basically kind of those kind of situation where when I'm forced to go there. I know it will be hard to generate it, but when you got I would call a lucky bump on the back of your car that turns you like too
Right.
much and you try to get back. I get too slow on those, and
Yeah. I mean, the
that's one of the situations.
kind of the way to practice it is just to like literally enact like how I did. Like say like we grab this boost, we get bumped, so like jump, like and land backwards and then half foot. Like that's literally what you can do to practice. So
Okay.
we turn here, we jump, we land, half foot. And just get used to
Okay.
like doing things after you land, like just kind of land funny on purpose. Like
Yeah, like really an angle to if
yeah,
I don't do whatever, I would stop on the field.
right. So like do anything to
Okay.
keep your momentum. So like I don't know, pair it with some wave dashes. And like oh I land funny, be able to like half flip out of something and land quickly and regain. Like that's the
Okay.
way to practice it. Just put yourself in like funny situations with your car, And like what you don't want to do is like there where like I'm kind of like stopping and have to do like a 4 point
Yeah,
turn. Like
yeah. It's basically where I sometimes I get myself in. So
yeah, like even
okay.
something simple like this, like you're going coming back to play orange on defense, you have to jump to avoid a bump, and you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you hold power slide just so you can land a bit better and not have to spin, right?
Okay.
So like literally put like think of the situation while you're in free play. Okay, I'm rotating back. I got hit, so I want to make sure I get back to the back post.
Okay.
That's the way you want to go about it. But really, you shouldn't have to use power slide that much in
Okay.
here. Yeah.
All right. So I will have a quick request for you, meaning as it don't have to be today or tomorrow, but if you can make the VOD available as soon as you feel it can be, I would appreciate it
Yeah.
because I would like to go back on the review stuff, try to make some notes.
Yeah, while it's
And
still
what
fresh.
I think, yeah, and since I still remember what we talked about too, so it will be easier to maybe make notes and make it more the way I understand it to for the last session that we can see if I'm correct or not on my understanding on stuff.
Sure.
Since I will kind of doing it by myself, I will try to make notes the same way I did and I will make it available to you
Yeah.
once I'm done. I might even try, it's a thing that I think I thought about. I might even try to record myself doing a replay review and maybe just trying to do some drawings and stuff like this to
Yeah.
send you and
That'd be a great
so
idea.
you can have an idea if we might not have to go through every spot, or you might just want to look at before the session, so we can just point out the stuff about it. Because I would really like to spend part of the last session on the aerial, the next step of aerial,
Yeah.
even if it's just that okay, you will have to do that work on, even if it's just you showing it on the screen, so I can look it on the VOD after that.
Yeah, next
Um,
session we'll go over everything that we want to like talk about in terms of improving mechanically. So we did like the replay review after the program's done, and the next session will be everything for mechanics after the program's done.
yeah. The only thing that we didn't go through, but it's fine. It's still, it's just a nice to have. I think it was being able to understand information from ball chasing.
Yeah.
Like if I remember correctly, you told me that it was more analyzing the movement on the statistic and stuff like this instead of understanding the statistic itself or something like this. I don't know if it's something that it can be lengthy or not, but I would appreciate if we have time to go
Yeah.
on that. But I understand that we have to finish at some point. So
Yeah. Um, yeah. And even if like if there was like we should be able to get to it next session, but even if we couldn't, like I would just do it on like my own time outside of the session. I'd
great.
write something up for you.
All right, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't want to hold you too long since I know you might have something else or
yep, I do have
you.
another session here.
All right. So thank you very much. I really appreciate. I didn't saw the hour going at all, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I actually have one last question.
Yes.
This was a really like instructive and good session. Would it be okay once I give you the recording if you put it like would you be willing to put it in student workshop for other people to see?
I thought about it myself, so yeah, I think I will do, and I think it might help a lot of people on the replay review stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think I realize that there is not much people that want to learn those stuff. I'm a weirdo that like to learn those stuff, and I think it's most people would be interested to learn it. They just don't want to kind of start the movement, if I can say like that. So, but I'm pretty sure people would appreciate the replay review part.
Awesome. Cool.
So yeah, I will do it. I was thinking about it, but since you suggest yourself to even go back on the stuff outside of the program, I will gladly do it for you. And I can ping people or whatever, or I will let you do
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah. You
Up
can you
to you.
can put it in there, and then I'll make an announcement about it that it's a good
All
one
right.
to look up.
So yes, it's a deal. We'll do that.
All right, awesome.
All right. Have a good next session. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. It was really I really appreciate this one. It
Yeah,
was really really nice.
awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed. I did as well. I'll see you next time. All right. Enjoy the
All
rest of
right.
your night.
Bye bye.
Bye.